There's a truth no one tells you. The world is divided into exactly two types of people. People who set the rules and people who follow them. If you keep walking down the path that has already been paved, you're just a pawn in someone else's game. And then one day, you wake up and realize your entire life has never truly been yours. But if today you dare to stop obeying, if today you dare to rewrite the rules, you will no longer be the one led, but the one designing your own destiny. Don't take your eyes off this video, because this will be the beginning of a completely new life. Chapter 1. The Invisible Cage. You think you're choosing, but in fact you're just obeying. Are your choices really yours? Since you were a child, society has shaped a map for your life. You were educated to believe that if you study well, you will have a good job. If you are obedient, you will be loved. These values have gradually formed and guided you through every stage of life. But have you truly chosen that path, or are you just following a script that was written for you? From choosing a field of study and career to decisions about your personal life, can you be sure that you're doing what you want, or are you just pursuing what others expect of you? Every step that seems like a free choice is actually influenced by patterns and societal expectations. This is an invisible cage that not everyone notices. You don't have the right to choose as you think you do. You're simply being controlled by predetermined patterns without even realizing it. The thinking program. Society needs followers more than thinkers. Modern society is built on the principle of mass control. To maintain social order, there needs to be a system capable of creating followers, those who never dare to question the rules and regulations around them. The education system, the media, and social norms have been programmed to make people automatically accept and follow without any doubt. Since you were small, you were taught that if you are obedient, you will be rewarded, and if not, you will be punished. You were never taught how to ask questions, how to reflect, and check whether what you're doing truly fits with who you are. You learn to wait for approval from others, to wait for validation, and to avoid anything that might bring criticism. This is an automatic lifestyle, a thinking program that society has installed in you. The definition of success, who determines it? What does success mean? Society has built a universal model of success. A stable job, a loving family, a life without any shortages. But have you ever wondered whether this is your real dream? Or are you just chasing a model created by society, merely a copy of what others expect you to be? The success you're chasing may not be yours. It could be a goal created by the media, by family pressure, or simply because you feel lacking and try to fill that void with what society deems a success. You are living someone else's life without even realizing it. You are not you, but a version of the expectations others have placed on you. The first awakening. If you don't ask questions, you're being led. Awakening begins when you realize that not every choice you make comes from you. When you stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is this the path I truly want to take? When you begin to realize that what you thought was a self-made decision is actually just following rules that no one ever taught you to question and analyze. The first step in the process of awakening is to stop, breathe, and rethink. It is not easy, as it will make you feel lost and empty. But from that point, you can start rebuilding your life, no longer being influenced by old patterns, no longer being led by others' expectations. Chapter 2. The Rules of the Game and the Rulemaker. The cruel truth about how the world operates. Every system has rules, and there are owners of these rules. When you enter any system, from school, company, to society at large, you will realize that each system has its own set of rules. But what's important is, these rules are not random. They are established and maintained by those in power, those who are running the system. Rules are not harmless. They are tools used to maintain the power and interests of those who created them. This is true not only in the political or business world, but also in personal relationships. When you enter any game, you are being controlled by those who have set the rules of the game. They don't just shape what you see, but also control what you don't see, what you don't know. It's not the ability to decide your destiny, but your position on the chessboard. Everyone believes that talent determines success. But the reality is different. Success does not always come from talent, but from the position you occupy in the game. Those who are closer to power, closer to the center of the system, have the opportunity to change the rules, control, and leverage the system more effectively. If you don't understand where you stand, you won't be able to move strategically. You can't play this game if you don't understand how it operates. Your position determines your ability to influence and change the game, and those on the sidelines will forever remain followers. The game of the rule makers, setting the frame, then profiting from the followers. The smart people are not necessarily the best players, but the ones who create the game. Those behind big corporations, the founders of social platforms, don't just sell products. They create a world, a space where you get sucked in and cannot escape. They don't just provide a tool or service. They create an ecosystem where you can't separate yourself from them. You're not just a consumer, but you're providing value to them without even realizing it. To be a master, you must see the rules. To change, you must write the rules yourself. To become a player, you must understand the rules of the game. You cannot change if you don't know the rules. The first step is to realize that you're being governed by invisible rules. The next step is to stop and question these rules. Why do they exist? Who benefits from these rules? To change, you cannot continue to obey without understanding. You must rewrite your own rules, and from there, create your own game, where you're the one setting the rules, not following them. Chapter 3. From Pawn to Player. The Journey of Conscious Transformation. 1. Awakening is not rebellion, but realization. Many people, when starting their journey toward freedom, carry with them a sense of anger. They rebel, resist, and try to break all the frameworks around them. But that is not awakening, it's just a reaction. True awakening is the moment you stop fighting the system meaninglessly and start understanding it, so you can navigate through it without being swallowed whole. You don't need to shout that you're different. You need to be quiet enough to hear the true voice within yourself. When you awaken, you no longer see the world through the lens of resistance and pain. Awakening means realizing you can move through society without being swept away by it. You don't become a true player by flipping the board. You become one when you understand every move and know exactly when to play and when to step away. 2. Breaking the loop. Creating a new map for your life. Everyone has their own invisible loops, repeating the same type of job, the same kind of relationship, the same failures. That's because we live by an old map, a map drawn by others. To create a new map, you must dare to ask yourself, where do I want to go? Instead of where should I go? You must rewrite your core values. What truly matters to me? What makes me feel alive? What am I willing to trade for it? When you have your own map, you'll start to make your own choices. And at that point, whether you move slowly or quickly, you're still walking toward freedom. This doesn't mean you won't face hardship, but you will have the freedom of choosing your own path. Breaking the old loop is not a loud revolution. It's a quiet one that happens within you. It comes from the small decisions you make each day, not letting others define who you are, not allowing your past to dictate your future. 3. Building a new frame of reference. No dependence, no comparison. Society teaches you to evaluate yourself through other people's yardsticks, degrees, income, status, follower count. But all of these come from the outside. You need to build an internal frame of reference where you measure yourself by your own progress. Did I understand myself better today than I did yesterday? Did I act in alignment with my own values? When you're no longer dependent on validation, you are truly free. And when you stop being pulled into comparison, you become truly creative. Realizing your independence and how you assess yourself is a long journey. You won't be able to do it overnight. However, each time you learn to evaluate yourself based on your personal growth rather than social achievements, you will feel freer and be able to let go of external pressures more easily. 4. Creating your own ecosystem. Building your own game. Once you understand the rules of the game, once you've built your own map and frame of reference, the next step is to create an ecosystem, an environment where you are the one in control. That could be a company you start, a platform you build, a community you lead, or simply a lifestyle that no one else can impose upon. A person who truly owns their life doesn't need much. They just need enough control so no one can force them to go against their own values. From there, they attract others who resonate at the same frequency, and the world begins to be rewritten, not through shouting, but through steady and consistent action every single day. To master your life, you don't need to have everything, but you need enough strength to create a space where you can grow without being affected by external forces. That is true freedom, not material independence, but the freedom in how you live, think, and act. Chapter 4. Creating Difference. What makes a true player? 1. You don't need to be like anyone else to succeed. One of the biggest mistakes many people make is thinking they need to be like someone else in order to succeed. They try to copy, to follow what others have done, hoping to achieve similar results. But success is not a straight path you can replicate from someone else. Each person has their own road, their own approach, and their own values. Difference is the root of true creativity and real success. Instead of looking for a model to copy, you need to discover your own path. You must be brave enough to not follow the crowd, to stand alone, and to follow the voice inside yourself. Every bit of difference, every independent step you take creates opportunities that would never appear if you kept walking a familiar, worn-out path. 2. Daring in a world full of rules. To be a true player means you must have enough courage to be different. Society, family, friends, they might disagree, criticize, or doubt the path you choose. But if you don't dare to step outside your comfort zone, you will never find real freedom or authentic success. Daring doesn't mean the absence of fear. It's the ability to walk forward despite the fear. The entire world may seem to stand against you, but if you hold firm to your values and your path, you'll discover transformation from the very act of daring itself. 3. Creating impact, the power of resonance. A great player doesn't just create change for themselves. They create positive influence for those around them. They know how to build and lead a community, to inspire, and to share values with those who share their vision. Resonance doesn't come from working alone, but from the ability to connect with like-minded people. When you begin to build a strong, inspiring community, you will witness the power of collaboration and how far you can go together. Creating impact is a long journey, but if you stay true to your vision and mission, you will become a leader of change, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. 4. Becoming the player of your own life. In the end, what matters most is recognizing that you are the one who creates your own game. No one can control you unless you let them. You can become the leader of your own life, not a follower, not a pawn. By understanding the rules of the game, building your own frame of reference, and shaping an environment that aligns with your values, you will become a true player, not just in your own life, but in the larger world around you. Chapter 5. The Power of Perseverance. Mastering the process, not just the outcome. 1. Perseverance isn't a formula, it's an attitude. In life, we often hear about perseverance, but how many people truly understand that it's not simply about doing something repeatedly without giving up? Perseverance isn't a mechanical formula. It's a mindset, a way of approaching life where you take responsibility for your journey. It's the commitment to walk the chosen path despite challenges and hardships. But more importantly, why are you persevering? Persevering without a clear purpose, without creativity or adaptability, will only trap you in cycles of repetition. But perseverance grounded in awareness and understanding will allow you to grow with every step. When you reach your goal, the satisfaction will come not just from the result, but from the journey you've truly lived. 2. Every step is a lesson. Perseverance is an ongoing learning process. Every step along the way is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, your resilience, or new skills you're developing. Don't focus solely on the destination and overlook the lessons the journey offers. Every failure, every trial and error moment is a vital part of success. Only by learning from each fall can you truly stand stronger and go further. Successful people aren't those who never fail. They're the ones who get back up, extract the lessons, and keep moving forward. 3. Perseverance in action and in thought. Perseverance isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think. You can repeat a task over and over, but if your mindset stays the same, you'll never see different results. Perseverance in both action and thought must go hand in hand. The way you perceive a challenge determines how you'll overcome it. If you see each obstacle as a chance to learn, then overcoming it becomes a reward, not a burden. Mental perseverance means being determined to reshape how you view life and yourself. 4. Balancing perseverance and flexibility. Perseverance doesn't mean being rigid. Flexibility is an essential part of the journey. You might keep your goals the same, but you must be open to changing how you reach them. If a method no longer works, don't be afraid to change it. Perseverance doesn't mean clinging blindly to old ways. It means being committed to your goal while staying flexible in your strategies. That's the real strength. The ability to adjust without losing direction. Chapter 6. The Opportunity Maker. You create opportunities, not wait for them. 1. Opportunities don't come to you. You create them. Everyone talks about waiting for the right opportunity, but few realize that opportunities don't magically appear. They are created. No one will hand you an opportunity unless you first create it for yourself. Every single day, you have the power to create opportunities through conversations, small decisions at work, through learning and developing yourself. When you take intentional actions and shift your mindset, you'll start to see opportunities everywhere. You must realize that every step you take is a chance to make something happen, even in the midst of difficult circumstances. 2. There are no big opportunities without small ones first. Success rarely comes from a single big break. It's the result of seizing small opportunities again and again. If you can't recognize or value the small ones, you'll likely miss the big ones too. Start with the little things. Sometimes an opportunity isn't a major event, but a casual conversation, a spontaneous meeting, or a slight change in your daily routine. These small, seemingly unimportant moments slowly accumulate and become the stepping stones to something much greater. 3. The power to shape your own destiny. Once you realize you're not here to wait for opportunities, but to make them, you'll understand your ability to shape your own destiny. Opportunities are not out of reach. They're within your control when you choose to be intentional and proactive. To do this, you need vision and determination. You must train yourself to see potential where others see problems, to discover hidden possibilities even in failure. The people who create opportunities are the ones who don't just react to the present, but envision the future. 4. Community is a tool for opportunity. You don't have to create opportunities alone. Community is a vital tool in this process. When you build connections with like-minded individuals, opportunities will naturally flow through those relationships. One of the best ways to generate opportunities is to be part of a creative, inspiring community, a space where people support and uplift each other. Start building your own circle, help others, and share what you know. Opportunities will come when you're ready to connect and contribute. Conclusion: the journey to life mastery. To master your life, you need more than awareness of yourself and the world. You need the courage to break out of old molds, the discipline to keep learning, and the power to create your own chances. This journey requires perseverance, confidence, and a clear vision of where you want to go. Don't wait for life to give you an opportunity. Be the one who creates it. Don't follow someone else's rules. Rewrite them. When you become the player of your own life, you'll unlock a world of infinite possibilities. Chapter 7. Redefining success. It's not about the peak, but the depth. 1. Success is not a goal. It's a state of being. In today's world, success is often defined by specific metrics: wealth, fame, status, rapid growth. But the more people reach those benchmarks, the more they realize something is still missing. That's because it's not true success. Real success isn't about how much you have. It's about whether you're living in alignment with who you really are. It's that feeling of waking up each morning knowing exactly what you live for and why. When you become the player of your own game, you stop measuring success by someone else's scoreboard. You start measuring it by depth of experience, inner freedom, and the harmony between your life and your personal values. 2. Success must align with your true nature. An introvert doesn't have to become a motivational speaker. Someone who dislikes negotiation doesn't have to force themselves into becoming an entrepreneur. Success doesn't come from fitting into a mold. It comes from fully developing the potential that already exists within you. True success is when your essence aligns with the role you play in society. Once you deeply understand who you are, you'll stop chasing things that were never meant for you in the first place. 3. Choose success that lasts, not a flash in the pan. Many people achieve success only to burn out, lose their way, or lose themselves. That's because they poured everything into reaching one golden moment without building a foundation to sustain it. Lasting success doesn't destroy your personal life, your mental health, or your sense of balance. It comes from consistent effort, wise choices, and unwavering commitment to what's right for you, not just what looks shiny on the surface. 4. Depth matters more than breadth. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to outshine everyone. Choose one thing that truly matters to you and go so deep into it that others can't help but take notice. When you go deep in one area, you create value that's authentic and impossible to replicate. Breadth may help you stand out for a moment, but depth will help you stand the test of time. Chapter 8. The Rulemaker's Mindset, Seeing the World as a Blank Canvas. 1. Most rules are man-made, not laws of nature. Once you begin to question the rules, you'll be surprised to realize many of them are not laws of nature. They're just social agreements. Someone made them up, and most people accept them without ever questioning why. Business norms, educational methods, work models, all are human inventions. If someone else created those rules, then so can you. The mindset of a rule maker starts with the courage to observe and ask, why is everyone doing it this way? And what would happen if I did it differently? 2. Rule makers always ask, is there another way? When you're a follower, your question is, how can I fit into the system? But the rule maker asks, why does this system exist? Is it even effective? They're not confined by the default settings of society. They ask the big questions, and often it's those questions, not credentials or experience, that spark revolutions. The rulemaker's mindset is open, flexible, and creative. They're willing to break old rules or rewrite them entirely, as long as it creates real value and doesn't violate core ethics. 3. They create new reality for others. Rulemakers don't just liberate themselves. They create new systems where others can live better, freer, and more effectively. Those who build new platforms, technologies, or lifestyles, they all started by refusing to blindly follow the old ones. They don't rebel just to be different. They see a better future and decide to build it. You don't have to be famous to be a rule maker. If you live by your own values and influence those around you positively, you're already playing life on your terms. 4. They master the art of strategic concession. Interestingly, rule makers are not always rebels on the surface. They're often calm, patient observers. They know when to yield in order to advance. They know when silence is more powerful than noise. They don't fight the system at the surface level. They master the deeper game. The rulemaker's mindset is the ability to think long-term, act with strategy, and understand rules without being bound by them. They use the old system as a springboard to launch the new. Chapter 9. The Art of Shaping Reality. You see it, you create it. 1. Everything you call reality is actually perception. Reality isn't the fixed, objective truth we often assume it is. Two people can face the exact same event and respond in completely different ways. What makes the difference? It's perception, the way you see, the way you assign meaning. Most people live in a reality shaped by society and other people. The game changer redefines everything on their own terms. Failure stops being the end. It becomes an opening. Hardship stops being a curse. It becomes a challenge designed to evolve you. To shape reality is to stop waiting for the world to define who you are. You write your own essence, and then watch as the world adjusts around it. 2. Create, don't react. Most people live in a reactive loop. An event happens, they feel something, they react. That's survival, not real living. But those who play the game, well, think differently. They create their own current. To create is to imagine the future you want, then return to the present and start building it now. They don't wait for the world to be perfect. They take action that moves it toward their vision. 3. Language creates reality. Watch closely. The way you describe yourself determines how you behave. Someone who says, "I'm weak," will keep acting weak. Someone who says, "I don't know yet, but I'll learn," is activating a completely different reality. The words you use every day are code for your brain. They shape how you see the world, and the world reflects it right back. Want to change your reality? Start by changing how you speak about yourself, about your problems, and about life. The best rule makers use words as tools, not to manipulate, but to shape the world with intention. 4. Recognize your environment, then rewrite it. You can't reshape your reality if you're trapped in an environment that numbs you. Environment is a massive part of how reality is formed. Be aware where you live, who you spend time with, what values you absorb every day. Are they helping you rewrite the rules, or quietly training you to stay in line? To shape reality, you must first shape your surroundings. Remove what drains you. Add fuel from books, mentors, inspiring spaces. Curate your environment like an artist. Then watch reality bend to your design. Chapter 10. The Final Freedom. Becoming the architect of your life. 1. Every choice you make is shaping your life. You don't have to be an architect to design. You're designing your life with every small decision. What you study, who you spend time with, how you think, how you respond. Each choice is a brick. And the life you're living now is the structure built from years of those bricks. A conscious person doesn't leave their life to fate. They deliberately lay the foundation for the path they want to walk. 2. Designing isn't just adding, it's also letting go. A great artist doesn't just know how to draw, they know how to erase. Life is the same. Designing your life isn't just about adding more. It's about subtracting what no longer serves. Let go of useless habits. Let go of toxic relationships. Let go of expectations that were never yours to carry. Those who master life don't do more. They live more clearly. The simpler your life, the sharper your will. 3. Freedom isn't limitlessness. It's conscious self-limitation. Here's a paradox. The freest people are those who choose their limits. They don't let every desire pull them in every direction. They choose to focus. They choose to sacrifice what they want now for what they want most. Freedom isn't doing everything. It's knowing what's truly worthy of your time and energy. 4. To live purposefully is to truly exit the game. At the peak of freedom lies inner peace. No need to prove anything. No more fighting for approval. No longer trapped in the game society plays. These people don't just play the game. They create a game of their own. And then, slowly, they step out of it. They live in a world they've drawn for themselves. They are not afraid of being left behind because they were never chasing. They're the creators, the ones who lead, the ones who stand firm in a world constantly shaken by the crowd's direction. Chapter 11. From chess piece to player. The transformation no one teaches you. 1. Most of us are raised to be chess pieces. Look back at your education. You were taught to behave, to obey, to fit in. Anyone who was different was called rebellious. Anyone who questioned too much was seen as a nuisance. From an early age, we were programmed to fit the mold. You weren't taught to ask the big questions, only to give the correct answers. You weren't encouraged to design the game, only to play it well. And so, over time, you became a chess piece. Maybe a shiny, successful piece, but still part of someone else's board. 2. To become a player, you must dare to lose everything fake. The shift from chess piece to player isn't easy. It requires you to strip away all the masks you once wore to gain approval. Titles, roles, applause. You might have to let them all fall away to return to your raw, authentic core. Transformation always comes with discomfort. You'll feel out of sync, misunderstood, rejected, but that's the necessary stage of rebirth. No one escapes the cocoon as a caterpillar. To become a butterfly, You must be willing to shed your old self. 3. Once you start playing, life looks entirely different. A true player doesn't fear failure. They know it's part of the rules. They no longer crave approval. They understand that the crowd's validation was never the measure of truth. When you step into the role of a player, you know exactly what you want and what you don't. You act with purpose, not just to check boxes. You don't need motivation because your vision pulls you forward. 4. Players don't need to be big. They just need to be real. Here's the beauty of it. Being a player doesn't mean becoming a millionaire, a CEO, or world famous. A true player might be a carpenter, a painter, a stay-at-home parent, but they live by their own principles. True freedom doesn't come from status. It comes from living in alignment with who you really are, according to rules you've written for yourself. Chapter 12. Rewrite your life story. You choose the beginning or the end. 1. Pause and look back. What story are you writing? Every day, you're writing a chapter of your life. But the question is, are you holding the pen? Or are you letting someone else write it for you? Ask yourself, is what I'm living truly what I've chosen? Am I waiting for some miracle to change everything? Am I afraid to live authentically because I fear getting hurt? If the answer is yes, then you're living someone else's story, not your own. 2. IT doesn't matter where your story began. What matters is what you write next. Maybe you failed, been underestimated, lost your way. That's okay. Those things don't define you. How you respond to them does. You can rewrite the main character anytime. From victim to warrior. From dreamer to doer. From follower to rule maker. 3. This story must be lived, not just read. Thousands of books, millions of inspirational videos. They mean nothing if you don't stand up and write the next page yourself. Put your hand on your heart. Ask, whose rules am I really living by? Do I dare fail for something I truly believe in? What would I do if I had no fear? And then, act. No theories, no dudas, no permission needed. 4. IT takes just one moment to start living a different life. Change doesn't need 10 years. It needs one real moment of awakening. One decision. One time you dare to rise. One time you choose what's right over what's easy. One time you follow your heart, not someone else's script. You don't need anyone to give you permission. You don't need anyone to approve. You can begin right now. You can escape the old life. The moment you realize you have the power to choose the rules. The world doesn't need more people who follow instructions. The world needs someone bold enough to live their truth, like you. If something in this message awakens something in you, don't ignore it. Don't let it pass like a fleeting inspiration. Act. Live. Design your own game. Because if not now, then when? If not you, then who? Backhand index pointing right. And if you want to keep walking the path of self-discovery, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any next awakening messages. Because this is only the beginning.